Today we'll discuss the review on collections, stacks, and generic types. So, a collection is an object that gathers and organizes other objects. Elements in a collection are typically organized in terms of the order of their addition to the collection or in terms of some inherent relationship of the elements. A collection is an abstraction wherein the details of the implementation are hidden. A data structure is the underlying programming construct used to implement a collection. Stack elements are processed in a LIFO manner. The last element in is the first element out. A programmer should choose the structure that is appropriate for the type of data management needed. A stack is the ideal data structure to utilize when evaluating a postfix expression. Errors and exceptions represent unusual or invalid processing. A Java interface defines a set of abstract methods and is useful in separating the concept of an abstract data type from its implementation. By using the interface name as a return type, we ensure that the interface doesn't commit the method to utilize of any particular class that implements a stack. A programmer must carefully consider how exceptions should be handled, if at all, and at what level. The implementation of the collection operation should not affect the way users interact with the collection. How we handle exceptional conditions determines whether the collection or the user of the collection controls a particular behavior. For efficiency, an array-based stack implementation keeps the bottom of the stack index at 0. Summary of terms. Abstraction. A point of view that hides or ignores certain details, usually to make concepts easier to manage, so the details of the implementation are hidden. Abstract data type. A data type whose values and operations are not inherently defined within a programming language. Class hierarchy. The relationship among classes created by inheritance in which by inheritance okay, there's a typo here. So, created by inheritance in which the child of one parent can itself be the parent of other classes. So just for any confusion, I'll just repeat that. So, class hierarchy. The relationship among classes created by inheritance in which the child of one parent can itself be the parent of other classes. Collection. An object that gathers and organizes other objects. Data structure. An organization of objects that allows certain operations to be performed efficiently. The programming constructs used to implement a collection. Exception. An object that defines an unusual or erroneous situation. Generic type. A placeholder for an object type that is not made concrete until the class that it refers to is instantiated. Inheritance. The object-oriented principle of deriving one class from an existing class. Interface. The manner in which one thing interacts with another. A set of public methods that enables one object to interact with the other. Java Collections API. The subset of the Java Application Programming Interfaces API that represent or deal with collections. LIFO. Last in, first out. A description of a collection in which the last element added will be the first element removed. Polymorphism. The object-oriented principle that enables a reference variable to point to related but distinct types of objects over time, and in with method invocations are bound to code at runtime. There should be which and each and which method invocations are bound to code at runtime. Push, a stack operation in which an element is added to the top of a stack. Pop, a stack operation in which an element is removed from the top of the stack. Stack, a linear collection whose elements are added and removed from the same end in a LIFO manner. So here are some review questions. What is a collection? A collection is an object that gathers and organizes other objects. What is a data type? A data type is a set of values and operations on those values defined within a programming language. What is an abstract data type? An abstract data type is a data type that is not defined within the programming language and must be defined by the programmer. What is a data structure? A data structure is the set of objects necessary to implement an abstract data type. What is abstraction, and what advantages does it provide? Abstraction is the concept of hiding the underlying implementation of operations and data storage in order to simplify the use of a collection. Why is a class an excellent representation of an abstract data type? Classes naturally provide abstraction since only those methods that provide services to other classes have public visibility. What is the characteristic behavior of a stack? A stack is a last in, first out LIFO data structure. What are the 5 basic operations on a stack? Push adds an element to the stack. So push adds an element to the end of the stack. Pop removes an element from the front of the stack. Peek returns a reference to the element at the front of the stack. Is empty returns true if the stack is empty or false otherwise. Size returns the number of elements in the stack. What are some other organizations that might be implemented for a stack? I'll just repeat that. What are some other operations that might be implemented for a stack? So make empty is a method that could be created, destroy, or full are all methods that you could create. Those are just some examples, so you could create whatever you want. Define the term inheritance. Inheritance is a process in which a new class is derived from an existing one. The new class automatically contains some or all of the variables in the original class. Then to tailor the class as needed, the programmer can add new variables and methods to the derived class or modify the inherited ones. Define the term polymorphism. The term polymorphism can be defined as having many forms. A polymorphic reference is a reference variable that can refer to different types of objects at different points in time. The specific method invoked through a polymorphic reference can change from one invocation to the next. A reference variable of a parent class or any superclass may hold a reference to one of its descendants. A reference for a child or a superclass may not hold a reference to a parent or superclass. To make this assignment, you would have to explicitly cast the parent class into the child class. Horse creature equals horse, new mammal. What is the purpose of generics in the Java language? Beginning with Java 5.0, Java enables us to define a class based on generic type. This is why we can define a class so that it stores, operates on, and manages objects whose type is not specified until the class is instantiated. This allows for the creation of structures that can manipulate generic elements and still provide type checking. What is the advantages of postfix notation? Postfix notation avoids the need for precedence rules that are required in infix expressions. So that concludes the review of the introduction to Java collections, stacks, and generic types. Thanks.